Hi, I'm Helen Reid. This is my teaching practice exam number 1 for the yoga teacher training, 200 hours. The type of class I'm running today is a desk therapy yoga class for those that spend lots of time in the office or working over desks or crouched over computers or laptops. It's geared towards beginners, but not absolute beginners. So those who have some experience and knowledge of poses, and those that specifically also do some form of exercise and have tightness in areas like the shoulders, the upper back, the hips, the hamstrings, the legs. So I'm here today with Reedy, my husband. We're going to take about 75 minutes. I'm just going to check in whether he's feeling any niggles or has any injuries anywhere. No injuries. And I'm going to start the class today with a meditation followed by some breath work to allow us to come into the body. And we're going to do some gentle stretching, and then we'll move into some flows and generate a little bit of heat in the body, and then we'll finish off with some deep relaxation. The intent as well is to work all of those niggly parts, so we'll start gently to warm up the body. So are you ready? Mm-hmm. Great. So if we find ourselves in a seated position, perhaps in an easy chair, in an easy seated position. So on the block, I'm just going to pop some music on. So sitting up upright, raising the hips if you need to, knees relaxed towards the ground. Your hands can be in your lap, or you might want to pop your hands onto your knees if that feels right for you today. And it will be somewhat of an energetic class, so we want to use this time to notice our breath and start to turn inwards and focus on what we're feeling throughout the body. So taking 5 long inhalations and exhalations to slow down the breath today, and to start to turn inwardly and notice what's going on with our body, to let go of any of the to-do lists, to let go of anything that's gone on before this moment, anything that we've got to do after this moment, and allow ourselves to just be right here in this time for ourselves. And as we get to that 5th long inhalation, if it feels right for you, you might like to gently close the eyes or look downwards. We want to be as still as we can here, just noticing and paying attention. First starting to notice inhalations and exhalations. What do they feel like? Where do you first notice the inhalation? Is it on your top lip as the air comes in? Is it at your nostrils? Or is it in your chest or in your belly? Just paying attention here to where we feel the breath most strongly. And as we come into these few moments of stillness, we might notice thoughts that come in, or to-do lists that come in. This is perfectly normal. It's okay. Just allow those thoughts to float in and wash away like waves crashing onto the beach surface. And bring the attention back to the breath. Now we're going to spend the next few moments paying attention to the quality of thoughts that we're having. They might be thoughts of negativity, or thoughts of overwhelm, or thoughts of what might be going on in your work day. We don't want to judge these thoughts. We just want to notice. And then just gently, as the breath comes in and out, we gently let those thoughts come in and float away. We're going to turn our attention now to our body. Start to just feel our body. And again, noticing without judgments. Notice what it feels like to have your feet and your knees in the ground. Notice what it feels like to have your buttocks on the ground, or on your block, or on your mat. Notice where you might be feeling some tension in your body. Perhaps it's in your hips. Perhaps it's in your lower back, or middle back, or upper back. Perhaps you're feeling tension in the shoulders, or your neck, or your jaw. Without trying to change your breath or the quality of your breath, just send your breath into those areas. Allow the breath to relax these parts of your body that are feeling tense, tightness, that are feeling sensations. focus now on 10 deep inhalations and exhalations to really anchor and ground ourselves before we start our asana, our pranayama and asana practice. Taking your own time. Pick a number, whether it's 3 counts, or 4 counts, or 5 counts. And equally counts the inward and outward breath for 10 rounds. Allowing your belly, your lower chest, upper chest to fill up on the inhalations. And allowing your belly to fully empty on the exhalations. And with each breath, feeling more groundedness, feeling within your body and within this moment. And on your next inhalation, take your hands and sweep them up above your heads, palms facing each other, gently relax the shoulders. Open up your heart, your chest. Take a deep inhalation here. And as you exhale, bring your hands, palms to touch each other. And bring your palms into prayer position, into your heart center. Keeping those eyes closed. Taking a moment to set an intention here for your practice. And then gently releasing your hands into your lap and gently opening your eyes. Adjusting your eyes to the light in the room. We're going to spend the next few minutes doing some pranayama. So we're going to do Nadi Shavana breath sequence today. And this is where we breathe through the right nostril and through the left nostril, and it helps us balance the right and left sides of our brains, the right and left hemisphere of our brains, and provides what we call the yin and yang. Balances out our masculine and our feminine energy. Our masculine energy being that of which we use to reason and to be logical and practical, especially in our everyday work. And then the feminine energy, which is our creative side. And taking the time to do this helps us really be balanced and use both of those energies in our day-to-day work and in our day-to-day lives. So to start this practice, we're going to put our index and our middle finger together, like so. We have our left hand in the Chi Mudra, on our left knee if we like, or if that doesn't feel right, so on our left knee like so, like so. Yeah, and if that doesn't feel right, you can just pop your palm down on your palm up. So this is because we're opening to receive energy. And what we're going to do is pop those two fingers up into our third eye chakra, and we gently place the thumb on the nose, just gently. And as we breathe in for 4 counts through our left nostril. Pop our ring finger onto the left nostril, release the right thumb, and breathe out through the right nostril for 4 counts. And then popping our right finger onto our right thumb onto the right nostril, and breathing in through our left for 4 counts. Ring finger down, releasing the thumb and coming out of the right nostril for 4 counts. Now we're going to breathe in through the right, hold, release the left nostril, breathe out, breathe in through the left, close it off, release the right, breathe out through the right. We'll let you practice that for 10 rounds on your own. And I'll count it through after this next one. And breathe in through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off. Breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off. Breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off. Breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off. Breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just popping the right hand down here. Resume normal breathing. Just to finish off the pranayama practice, pop your hands on your thighs with some lion's breath. So this one, take a deep inhalation, and as we exhale, we're going to stick our tongue out, lean forward, and let it all go. So this is a great way to release tension as well. So I'll just show you for the first round. So breathe in. Let's do 5 of those. Breathing in. And let it out. To make any sound that feels right for you. Breathing in. And let it out. Breathe in, let it out. Breathe in, let it out. Breathing in and letting it out. And just coming back to resume normal breath. Just taking a few moments here to just notice how the body feels now. Taking one deep inhalation here. And just letting it out through your mouth. Removing any props that we have. So today we are using blocks and straps. Uncrossing the legs and coming into a child's pose. So we'll do an active child's pose. We're reaching our hands out in front of us. And pop the elbows down for now. Forward to the ground and trying to reach your buttocks to your heels. And taking a few breaths in. The next inhalation, lift your elbows off the ground and come onto your fingertips. Just releasing the back of the neck here. Popping the full palm of the hand down and lifting the fingers up. Palm down, fingers up, and fingers down, palms up onto the fingers. Palms down, fingers up. Hand down, palms up. Just doing this for 3 more cycles, using your breath. Loosening the palms here, stretching out the palms and the wrists. We use these lots when we're typing on our keyboards or our laptops. And then bringing the hands flat, keeping the elbows up off the mat. Walking your hands over to the right side, and feeling the stretch underneath your left armpits. Perhaps turning your head gently to gaze underneath the left armpits and trying to reach your left arm, your left fingertips a little bit further forward, getting a nice deep stretch in the left side body. Inhale and come back into the center and walking the hands over to the other side. Underneath that right armpit, just trying to reach that right hand, those right fingertips a little bit further. Releasing that neck as well. Inhale and come back into the center. Lifting your head down. Then gently lifting your head up, looking in between your thumbs, and lifting yourself up into a tabletop position. So here, I want to look at what our hands are doing, wanting to ensure that our elbows are rolling in slightly, our fingers are spread wide, our toes are untucked, our hands are directly underneath our shoulders. And we'll start with some gentle wrist movements. Just want to take our right hand and turn the fingers to point towards our knee and lean backwards slightly. Feel that stretch through the forearm using your breath. You might want to rock gently back and forwards. And turning it back and swapping the sides. That way, fingers pointing towards the toes. Just gentle movement back. Again, trying to release any tension through that wrist area. Inhaling and gently turning them back. Now try turning your hands on its back, so your palms facing up. And again, leaning slightly back and feeling that stretch through the wrist area. And softening it back the right way. Inhale, exhale, stretch. deep as it feels right for you today. Not pushing yourself. And turning it back, just gently coming back onto the knees here. Doing some wrist rolls, clockwise 5 times, anti-clockwise 5 times. You might like to clench your fists here. And swapping sides, swapping arms. And 5 the other way. Just gently taking and walking your hands back out into that tabletop position. Again, looking at where your shoulders are, knees hip width apart, spine neutral, back nice and flat. And with the inhalation and with the exhalation, we're going to lift up and contract our shoulders into our cat position here. So exhale, lift. Contracting those shoulders and feel that stretch, and on the inhalation, we'll drop our tailbone, push our chest through, lift our head up, our chin long. Inhale on the cow, exhale on the cat. Warming up our shoulders here, our upper back, our upper thoracic region, also releasing. So I know that I get very tight, very sore in this upper back area from lots of laptop work. Just notice where your feet are, breathing. So hip width apart, strong in the legs. Keeping the core tight, also lifting the pelvic floor muscle. And then coming back into a neutral back. What we'll try with the next one are some wrist variations. So we might want to turn both hands in or one hand in. And again, we're doing that cat-cow. So on the exhalation, lifting, feeling that stretch. And on the inhalation, into the cow position, taking the head forwards, back flat. Using the breath to help us get into each movement a little bit deeper each time. And after your third one, come into the neutral back again. Just turn those wrists over. What I want to do is some gentle little circles over the wrists. And the other way. So we're going to move to some hip mobility here. So with this particular one, it's intuitive, and we'll just start with a little bit of free movement. So I want to get some mobility into the hips. So that might look like figure of 8s coming over the shoulders, or figure of 6s. Just whatever feels right here. There's no right or wrong. Trying to keep the forefinger, so your index finger, the knuckle into the nuts. Coming over the shoulders. Just loosening those hips. You're getting some warmth and movement throughout the body. And coming back into your tabletop position here. Just warm up the core a little bit. So we're going to take our left foot long onto the toes behind us to start with. Good, making sure hands still directly underneath the shoulders, taking the right arm long and lifting the left leg up. Trying to point the toes down, keeping the hip facing down, On the inhalation, we look up and reach, trying to reach with our fingers. On the exhalation, protract knee into the elbow, curling those shoulders. We'll do 3 here. Inhale, exhale, belly nice and tight. Inhale and exhale. When we learn how to switch on, let's do 2 more. We learn how to switch on the core. It really helps us strengthen through that abdominal area and protects the lower back. And after your 5th one, come into the center. Taking the right foot long, left arm up, reaching, looking forward, taking the right leg off the ground, staying balanced here, switching on that core. Inhale and exhale, elbow into knee. Inhale, exhale. Repeating this 3 more times using your own breathing. Good. And coming back into the center when you're ready. Gently coming back onto the heels for a second here. Just resting for a moment. Okay, we're going to lift up now onto our knees. Onto our knees. And just some side bends to stretch out the side part of the body. So what we want to do is we're going to lift up our hands, look up towards them, relax the shoulders, belly tight, rotate the elbows in here. We're going to take one hand over to the right and the left hand curled as close as we can into our ear. Just doing a side stretch here. This is a good time if you can't reach to use a block. And breathing into the chest, into the left lungs. What we don't want to do is collapse forward here. We'll be strong through the hips, nice and long. And if it feels right, looking up under that left armpit. And inhale into the center. Exhale. We go back over to the same side. Inhale into the center. Exhale over to the right side. And inhale, coming over to the left side. Left side. Inhale, looking up between those palms. Exhale, over to the left side. Again, final one. Inhale, and over to the left side. Keep those hips strong through the back or the front of the toes. And back into the center. Release the hands and just come down to sit for a moment. Coming back up onto the knees. Bring the knees a little bit closer together. I'm going to take the right leg out long to the right. Like so. And on this movement, we're going to lift up, come over to the right side bends, and then come over to the left as well. So I'll show you what that looks like. So we lift our hands up, palms facing. We're going to reach our right hand into the inside of our left leg. On the exhalation, inhale, and we come over on this side and stretch. I can't reach on that side, but inhale, over to the right side. On the exhalation, inhale, coming down. That arm over, great. And again, inhale, over to the right side, elbow tucked in, good. Inhale, and on the exhalation, trying to reach the ground. Hands out, trying to reach the ground. Good. So this might be a good time to use a block. Do one more. Inhale. Over to the right side on the exhalation. Breathe. Inhale. Over to the left side, reaching the block. Good. Back into the center on the inhalation. Release the hands, bring the leg into the middle and let's swap sides. So taking the left leg out long, just pop your block up. Keeping the spine nice and long, we inhale. Left arm follows the leg down to the left side, right arm press into the bicep, looking up underneath if it feels right. Inhale into the center, exhale, coming over to the right side. Good. Back into the middle on the inhalation, exhalation, trying to keep those hips facing forward, so inner thigh, going forward here, that's better. Good, back into the center on the inhalation, exhalation, taking the arm, reaching through those fingers. Inhale into the center, good, hands facing towards each other, exhale and elbows rotated in. Over to the left side, inhale, to the right side, on the exhalation, and we've got one more. Inhale, exhale to the left side, and inhale, coming back into the center. Bringing the knees back together and just coming down for a second here. Putting the hands by your side here. I'm going to pop the right hand onto the left knee. Right hand onto the left knee, take the left arm long, going into a kneeling thunderbolt position here and doing a gentle twist. So reaching the arm out behind you. And lift up through the chest and twist on the exhalation. Trying to look over the back of your left shoulder, keeping the core tight. And with each inhalation, on the exhalation, you want to try and see if you can get a little bit deeper. Now, if you can't reach again, you can put your block. The intent here is to get the spine lengthened before we twist. So we're lengthening and twisting. And gently releasing and coming back into the center, taking the left hand onto the right leg, lifting the arm up, sitting up tall, reaching behind, and using the breath. Inhale, lift, twist. And then inhale again, lift and twist. Inhale, lift and twist. And gently releasing, coming back to the center. Popping our left hand over our right here and grabbing our hands as best as we can, so eagle arms. Just sit here and want to try and do this push-pull movement. So we're pushing our arms out whilst we're trying to bring them in. So my right arm's trying to push it in, my left is trying to push it out. Getting a really nice stretch through my upper thoracic area. And just breathing into the upper back, breathing into any tension in the upper back. And release, coming into the other side. So left arm underneath the right, creating that eagle arm. Good, trying to lift the arms so they're about shoulder height. And pulling and pushing and breathing, using the breath to get into the upper back region. And just gently unwinding Releasing, popping your hands down by your side. Let's stretch out the front part of the legs over the next little bit and do a little bit of balance work. So what I want you to start off with is popping your hands down by the sides of your knees. Maybe they're about halfway. And just lifting the knees off the ground and holding, feeling that stretch through the front part of the foot. Let's see if we can hold for 5 counts. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale and lift again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Inhale, exhale this time. And on the next exhalation, we'll try and go up for 8. Let's go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Taking 2 breaths. And we'll go for 8 counts again. Inhale, exhale, and release those knees. See if you can come a little bit higher. Trying to keep your butt still on the back of your, close to your heels. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release gently and just take a moment to rest. What we're going to do is help ourselves come up into this low squat position. Trying to keep our chest and our spine tall. Might want to put our hands at our heart center here and spending a few moments just to focus and balance. And we can focus on a point in the ground or something in front of us, but having the ability to just be in stillness and focus creates a balanced mind. Also, being on the toes like this, they'll start to scream at you, at us, like the mind is screaming already. It's a great way just to release any tension from the toes. And just release. Tap out the feet. And we'll try that again. And tuck the feet. When you're ready, lift. Bring those hands to the heart center. Bring the chest up. Just coming back down and release. Letting those feet out. Taking the legs long, we're going to come onto our bellies. And again, hands by the sides to start off with. Just allowing ourselves to rest here for a moment. We're going to focus on releasing and opening up our chest and our upper back muscles, releasing any tension through the upper back, strengthening the upper back. So inhale, with the exhalation, we lift, we peel our chest off, come up into a cobra position, heart and chest pushing through, shoulders relaxed, core tight, toes into the ground, and breathe. Inhale and exhale, release. Taking our hands about a hand width further forward. Inhale and exhale, lift. So slightly longer arms on the cobra. Again, head looking forward, trying to push our chest through, shoulders back. Breathe. And release gently. Keep those elbows tucked in as you release. Taking the hands a little bit further forward. Again, another palm length forward. Inhale, exhale, and lift. Shoulders relaxed, neck relaxed, jaw relaxed. Looking forward. Squeeze your buttocks if you need to. Core tight. Lift the pelvic floor. If you're shaking, it's a good thing. Getting stronger. And just release here. Popping your heads onto your forearms. Might like to look one way, straight down. Bring your hands back to the sides and taking them forward so your elbows are lined up with your chest. Fingers pointing forward. Lift up into a sphinx pose. Again, pushing the chest forward, opening up the chest, the heart. Releasing those upper back muscles. Squeeze them tight. Hips are on the ground here. And from here, we're going to turn our toes under. Turning our toes under, putting the pressure through our whole hands here. And then first peel off onto our knees. Good. Then peeling off into a plank. And holding. Got another 10 seconds of hold. Might want to look slightly forward rather than dropping the neck. Shoulders rolling out. Flatten the chest through the plank. Push through those toes and release first the knees, then the belly, then the chest. And bring your head onto your forearms. Inhaling and exhaling, keeping nice deep breaths. Moving the elbows to be directly underneath the arms again. We come up for our second sphinx. Turning those toes under. Curling up. You can come straight up into a plank. Or you can come up onto your knees first. And then onto your full plank. Making sure that your butt's not dropping low or going too high into the air. Just one nice flat back, roll those shoulders out. One straight line through your body. Switch on those belly muscles. And hold. 3, 2, 1. Drop to the knees here. Then come back into a child's pose. On the inhalation, lifting back up into your tabletop, taking the hands forward, index fingers pointing forward, making sure that your whole hand is on the ground, there's equal weight between all of your knuckles. Curl your toes under, lift up onto your knees, push your hips back and come into downward facing dog. For this next few moments, walk out your dog, drop the left heel, right heel again. Do anything that's intuitive here. Just to stretch out the back line of the body. You might want to drop both heels to the right side and stretch out that left side body. And on the inhalation, come into the center and drop over to the other side. Taking the right foot forward into the middle of your mat and just stepping and then stepping it back. Inhale, step the left foot forward and step it back. You do that a few times. It's a great way to stretch out the back of your legs. And then coming into some stillness in your dog. So what you want to notice, you don't necessarily have to have your heels on the ground. Make sure your fingers are wide, your triceps are wrapped in, you're pushing that chest through. And you've got a nice long line through the back of your legs, over your buttocks, into the back of your neck. And taking a few moments of stillness here. Looking up between your fingers, your thumbs, start to walk your dog, the feet in towards your feet. And if you need to, bend your knees and just dangle here. Dangling, trying to reach your head as close to your knees as you can. You might want to stretch out your left leg and bend your right. Feel that stretch in the back of your hamstrings. And do the same on the other side. And alternate. And again, you could grab onto the bottom of your feet here, your ankles, or your blocks if you can't reach. It's perfectly fine. Lift your toes up. Lift your toes up. Good. Heels up. Come onto your tippy toes. Toes up. Feel that deep stretch through the back of your legs, through your calves, through your Achilles. Find a little bit of balance here. Just allow yourself to dangle. Grab opposite elbows and let the gravity of your head take you closer to the ground. Releasing the hands. You're going to come up into a standing pose into the Tadasana, vertebrae by vertebrae. So allow yourself to dangle like a rag doll. And with the inhalation and exhalation, start to lift slowly, gently, keeping the chin tucked in, leaving the head heavy until last. And coming up into our mountain pose. Adjusting here if we need to. Taking our feet hip width apart, rolling the shoulders back. Palms facing forward. We're going to go into some sun salutations with some variations to open up our hips and get a bit more heat going. Start to feel a bit sweaty on the on the mat. And so head nice and long. Before we do that though, I want you to spend a few moments feeling your feet into the ground here, feeling grounded. Just notice what it feels like to feel balanced and grounded. With your next inhalation, sweep your arms up, palms facing each other, elbows turned in. And on the exhalation, we're going to swan dive forward, so hinge at the hips. And come down into a forward fold. Inhale, we come into a flat back, flat spine. Hands can sweep up towards the shins or onto your blocks. Exhale, hands to the ground, take the right foot back. Nice and strong in the right foot, followed by the left foot. And we're into a high plank here. Onto the tippy toes. Notice what's going on with your fingers. Are all knuckles into the mat. Shoulders over the wrists. Roll those shoulders out, away from each other. If you need to, we can pop down onto our knees. From here, we'll go into a chaturanga. Well, let's start with the knees, chest. So drop to the knees. Elbows tucked in. Take the chest through, chin through. Let's come up into a cobra and tuck those toes. Turn them under, lifting with the hips, come back into a downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths here. Flatten the chest, make sure that your fingers are not lifting, that your shoulders and triceps are wrapped in. Strong through the upper body, looking up towards your thumb. Lift your right leg, take it up in between your thumbs, followed by the left leg. Lift up into a flat back and fold. Taking the arms up, sweep them up over the heads and come back into your heart center. Let's go on to the other side, taking the arms out nice and long. Breathe in, lift, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Breathe in, flat back. Release, left leg back first, followed by the right. Knees down, chin, chest to the ground, slither through, tuck those elbows in, looking up towards the sky. You can come up off your thighs if it feels right. Turning those toes under and coming back into a downward facing dog, taking 3 breaths. Looking up between the thumbs. Lifting up the left foot and bringing it through the thumbs, followed by the right foot, up into a flat back, long spine, looking forward and release, head towards the knees, and then lifting up, arms up over the heads, and bring your arms into the heart center. Let's go again, arms by the side, lift, and bring them forwards. Breathe in, flat back. Breathe out. You can step back or jump back into a chaturanga. Lower and coming up into a cobra or upward facing dog. Straight into a down facing dog on the exhalation. Bring the feet together, closer together. Take the right foot long behind you, bend the knee, open up the hip. Try to keep the shoulders facing forward here. Okay, and lift the hip up, the butt up. And bring the leg in, lift it up nice and high towards the chest and pop it outside of your right leg here. Drop the right hand, I should say, drop the left knee to the mat. So this is a good time to use the blocks. You could pop your left hand on a block in the center, lift the right arm up, a gentle twist, and breathe. And come back into the center. Lifting the back leg up, nice and strong through the back hamstring. Taking the right leg back and into your chaturanga, so knees, chest, or elbows tucked in. And coming up into a cobra or upward facing dog, back into a downward facing dog. Taking the feet together, left foot up this time, point through the toes, bend the knee, open up the hip, keep the shoulders facing forwards, hold and lift, close the knee, bring the knee high up into the chest, and outside, I should say, of the left hand here, dropping that right knee, bringing the hand onto a block if you need to, really coming deep into this hip flexor. Toes can point out 45 degrees and lifting up. Nice gentle twist. Coming back into the center. Hands on the ground. Lifting that back leg. Taking the left foot back. Again, knees, chest or chaturanga. Upward facing dog on the inhalation. Downward facing dog. And breathe here. 3 breaths. Pushing that chest through. Looking up between the thumbs. You can step or come onto the tippy toes. Laying your butt back and try and land. Little jump. Land nice and softly between the thumbs. And straight into a long spine. Flat back. Chin up. Good. And release. All the inhalation, lifting up, hands over your heads, back into your Tadasana. I'm going to build on that in the next couple of rounds, taking your hands out by your side, breathe in, palms facing each other, breathe out. Into forward fold Uttanasana, long spine, hands to the ground, step or jump back straight into your chaturanga, elbows tucked in, up into your upward facing dog, down into your downward facing dog, feet together. Inhale, right leg long, open up the hip. Close the hip, knee to the right tricep, and then we'll take it back up, long leg, knee to the left tricep, long leg, and bring that knee to outside of the right hand. This time, see if you can drop or use your blocks to drop your elbows to the ground and open up that knee. Feel the stretchy through the groin. Drop that right knee out if you can. Come up onto the left hand and open up into a twist. Right hand into the center, open up into a twist. Bringing that right foot back into your high plank and into your chaturanga, elbows tucked in, chest, chin, knees into an upward facing dog. Turn those toes under, downward facing dog. Breathe here, 3 breaths. Let's go to the other side. Feet closer together into the center. Take the left foot long, bend the knee, open up the hip. And close the knee, bring that knee nice and high to the left tricep. Hold, release, long leg over to the right tricep. Hold, release. Outside of left leg. Just point those toes outwards, and if you can, come down onto the elbows. Feel the stretch through that inner groin, through the back of your hip, and breathe into it here. If you need to, you can drop the knee down. Coming up onto the right arm, gentle twist. Try not to let your hip collapse out here. Keep it nice and strong. Into the center. Swap arms. Twist, open up. Into the center. Line your hands to that plank. Bring your foot back into the plank. Go into chaturanga again. Up into your upward facing dog on the inhalation. Downward facing dog on the exhalation. And just drop into those knees here. And coming into a child's pose. Put your hands by your ankles. Into the ground. Just rest. Gently lift your head up here, coming back into the center of your mat. Crossing your legs under and putting your feet about hip width apart. And gently take our arms by our sides here. Switch on the core, and we're gently going to come down onto the mats, vertebrae by vertebrae, working through that core. Now, adjust your heels so they're a bit closer to your body. I like to see if I can touch my heels with my fingers or thereabouts. And dig your palms into the mat. Shoulders relax, but roll them back into the back of the mat. Don't lift your chin up. Chin is neutral, and on the exhalation we're going to peel vertebrae by vertebrae up into a bridge. So we take an inhalation, exhale and lift. So we lift vertebrae, squeeze the butts by vertebrae up into a bridge pose, roll onto the back of the shoulders, hold, make sure every corner of your foot is in the mat, your heels, your arches. Use that music. And if you like, you can release vertebrae by vertebrae. Or if you want to go a little bit stronger, bring your fists together underneath your back. Try and reach those fists, interlace them. Try and reach those fists into the mat, making sure that your knees here aren't collapsing out by the side. Making sure you've got your core muscles, your pelvic muscle and your buttock muscles all nice and tight. Release those hands, put your triceps into the mat and gently inhale, and on the exhalation we'll release vertebrae by vertebrae back into the mat. Bringing the feet closer together here. We're just going to drop the knees to the right side. If you like, you can gaze over the left side and take your left arm long, or you can go into cactus arms. So elbows at the height of the shoulders. Back into the center. Inhale, exhale over to the right side. And into the center. And I'm going to go into a half shoulder stand position here. So we take our legs long. We're going to pop our hands by our sides for now. And what we don't want to do with shoulder stand or half shoulder stand is look left and right. We need to look straight in front of us. So be mindful of that. So we're going to take one leg up, and you could bend your right leg followed by your left leg, and then kick them out, toes pointing up. Now with your core strength, we want to lift into a 45 degree angle, so we could be here, we could be here, and holding our butts, or we can lift all the way up. And you want to place your hands on the lower part of your back. Keep nice and still here. And keep those elbows tucked in as much as you can. And the great thing about shoulder stands is not only does it take our feet off the ground so the blood rushes the other way, we're on our feet all day long. This is a really good energizing pose as well. And we hold. Notice. Now, an alternative for this is to go and put your feet up against the wall. We don't have any walls in this particular gym, but you can put your feet up against the walls. Like I said, you can be in this 45 degree position instead, where we're not all the way up. And we're going to move from this into plow. So we start to bring the legs over our heads. Over our heads, we want to keep the legs nice and long. Keep the hands on the back to protect the back. Now, it's not so important that we touch the ground as it is to keep our legs long, and feel that stretch through the spine area and through the back of the legs. You might want to go, this is probably a long spot for me, you might want to go wide and open up that groin area as well. You might want to take one leg up and then swap to the other leg down like scissors. Or you might just want to stay with your feet up against the wall or in shoulder stand. Do whatever feels right for you. With the next inhalation, you might want to bend your knees or just come out of that gently. As you exhale, we roll the back down, vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae, taking our legs long and releasing the legs. And now to counter this pose, we need to get that blood rushing back through our heart. So we're going to lift up onto our elbows into fish pose. So lift up and drop the head back so it's touching the mat. And just holding here. Gently releasing our elbows to the ground. We bring the right knee and the left knee into our chest. Rocking side to side. Great way to release any tension in the back is to decompress these back muscles. So give them a little massage. Hands on the knees. Little circles, clockwise and anti-clockwise. Again, taking the knees up over the hips, just drop the knees out to the right side. Into the centre on the inhalation, over to the left side. Inhale into the centre, then rock back and forth, so back and forth, toes are touching, just so we can come up into a seated position with our legs long. So we need to counter that back work and the core work with some forward folds here. So do a couple of forward folds, trying to lift up out of the sit bone, spine nice and long. Take our arms up. Inhale, want to reach forward with the chest and the crown of the head, hinging at the hips. And exhale, coming long, grabbing onto whatever feels right. Dropping the head. And lifting back up. Slowly here, taking our arms long, core nice and tight. We're just going to release vertebrae by vertebrae. Come back into our Shavasana or corpse pose for our relaxation. Taking a few moments here to settle into the ground. Your feet might want to flop out to the sides of your mats. Your palms facing up. Your body relaxed. You might notice that your heart is beating a little fast. I want to take this time to allow our body to rest. To allow itself to come back to its natural heart rhythm. To slow down the breath, we focus on longer inhalations and exhalations. And to release any further tension that we might have in the body, we're going to do a practice of tension and release for this Shavasana. So turning your attention to your right foot. As you breathe in, as you inhale, tense your right foot, your toes, your ankle. And as you exhale, release. And moving up the leg, inhale and create tension in your lower leg, in your calf, in your shin area, in your knee. And with the exhalation, release. And moving up to the upper leg on the right side, inhale and tense up the front of your leg, your quadricep, the back of your leg, your hamstring muscles, and your buttocks, all of your glute muscles. And hold there as you tense them. And on the exhalation, let it go and release. Moving to the left side of our body. Turn your attention to your left foot. With the inhalation, tense up your left foot, your toes, your ankle. And on the exhalation, release. Moving up to the lower leg. Breathe in and create that tension through your calf, through your shin, through your kneecap. And as you exhale, let it go, let it flop back into the mat and release. Moving up the leg into your front of leg, back of leg and buttocks. Tense up those muscles. And then release on the exhalation. Let it go, let it come into the mat. Turning your attention into your stomach, hip, lower diaphragm area. Inhale, take a big inhalation, tense up those muscles. Feel them tensing up. And on the exhalation, release, let them all go. Upper chest area, take a big breath into your chest. Let it fill your lungs and hold. Feel it in the front of your shoulders, into the back area of the upper thoracic area. And as you let the breath go, let it all release, feel your ribs fall into the mat. Moving our attention into our right hand. Breathing into the palm of our right hand. You might want to clench the fist. Hold it tight through that fist, through the wrist, through your fingers, through your forearm, through your upper arm, and on the exhalation, release. Moving to the other side, clench your left hand, wrist, create a fist if you like. Tighten your lower arm, upper arm, shoulder area on the inhale. And as you let out a deep, long exhalation, let it all release. Moving into your face, neck and head area. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, release your jaw, release your cheeks, release your mouth muscles. Let them have a smile on their face. Release your eyeballs into the eye sockets. Release your eyebrows. Let your head be heavy into the mat. Take a deep inhalation into your whole body. Feel it from the crown of your head into the bottom of your toes, out into the ends of your fingertips. Hold. And as you release, let it all go. Let your body be floppy into the mat. Let it be heavy. And do that again. Take a big, deep breath in into every single crevice, to every extremity of your body. Take it slow. Breathe it in nice and slow. And hold. And release. Let your whole body feel released. Notice how this feels. As we start to bring our awareness back into our body, wiggle the fingers, the toes, lift your arms up overhead, you like, you can have a big stretch out, stretching out over your head. Point your toes, point your arms. And notice how good it feels to feel this relaxed. You might want to turn to one side here. Bring yourself into that fetal position, feeling that grounding. And gently lifting yourself into an easy seat, cross-legged. Bringing your hands together onto your heart. Noticing your heart beating. Noticing how good it feels to release tension from your body, to release tension from your mind. Bringing your hands together at your heart center. Reflecting for a moment here on the intention that you set at the beginning of the class. And bowing your head towards your hands and your heart. Giving yourself some gratitude, love, and appreciation for taking this time to practice. Namaste. So we'll go through some feedback. How has that felt for you? What's worked with this style of class? How do you feel right now? How did you feel at the beginning of the class, and how do you feel right now?
I'm very relaxed. I was struggling to stay awake at the end. I'm a bit too relaxed.
That's good.
No, it is good. It is. I feel very calm.
So groundedness and hopefully stretched out a little bit.
Yes, yes, I was really taken into it.
And what about the teaching? What worked? What might not have worked?
No, it was all good. I know some of the moves already, so I didn't have to pay too much attention. I could pretty much follow the flow, but it was good instruction.
Okay, great. So for me, I wanted to do some more flows, so I didn't have the time to do that. So I need to probably rethink a little bit of the warm up, but I think we did generate some heat, even though it does get warm in here at this time of the day. I think we did generate some heat through the class, which was what the intention was, to be able to get deeper into like the hip flexors and that hip area and into the back, so we could do those supine moves and get onto the shoulders and do the plows without niggling any of the back muscles. So I do know that Maridi does actually have some back issues from a very, very old injury, so I was very conscious that we're warmed up enough to be able to do that. He also has really tight hamstrings from all the fitness training. So again, I was really conscious of getting the flows going, so we could get into those plow moves without having a hamstring go or a what do you call it, or a muscle spasm. So I think that worked well. It wasn't my intention to keep the shamanic drumming on through the whole class, but I thought it brought a nice grounded and balanced aspect. So I'll let that go, and hopefully you could hear it on the video. I thought the way that I did my notes actually this time was a lot better. So I actually followed the class design, which made it really simple compared to one of the others, the yin yoga that I did, where I had it slightly different. I didn't do it via the class design template, so very thankful for that because I've got my actual exercises and then I've got some of my cues written next to it. I thought the flows were pretty good, so I thought we flowed from the moves, even through the warm up, into the vinyasa flows, into the supine work pretty easily. So I enjoyed creating it like that. I think that the mood was right. The fact that I almost got him asleep is great for me because normally it's the opposite. And I thought that it was a pretty good level for someone again that understands the body, that understands movement, that does exercise a fair bit. So I wouldn't say that it's a full beginner class. I would do it for people like Steve, that's, you know, like my ex-fitness clients that all understand different moves, understand some of the poses, some of the names, or be able to work through the movements because they understand how the body works. So it makes it a little bit hard because they're kind of beginners in yoga per se, but not beginners to movement. So that would be my angle with this particular class. So thank you for watching, and yeah, I really enjoyed doing a little bit of a Hatha Vinyasa flow style class and having a little bit more movement. It's a preference for my teaching, which probably means I need to teach more of the other stuff so I can become more comfortable with probably the uncomfortableness. And I'm really actually enjoying doing the meditations as well and kind of letting it free flow rather than being too scripted around the meditations. So thank you. Thank you, Reedy.
Thank you.